Here's what all conspiracy theories have in common. There are people who are sure something is true.
Okay.
That they want to be true. Every single one.
I don't
I've yet
want
to find
it
an
to
exception
be,
to this.
but
they find evidence in support of what they want to be true. Or if there's evidence that points against it, they have to invoke a conspiracy to keep believing what they want and say the missing evidence was taken by the government so that they can continue to believe what they want.
Well, people don't like to say, I don't know.
I love to say I don't know.
Yeah.
The universe brims with mysteries. And all those UFO sightings, I don't know what they are. Let's investigate them.
If I'm in an argument with somebody, I don't say, I don't know. I'm just like, oh yeah, and I try to bend it to win the argument.
Why do you have to win every argument? What's wrong with you?
Ego-based.
welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Mr. It's Too Easy, and I want to first wish everyone a happy New Year, man. I hope the Christmas was great as well. Did Santa bring some cool gifts off his sleigh? You know, man. The show is called Kiss It or Dismiss It. What we like to do here, we like to jump on TikTok and look for some of the strangest TikToks, the one to make you think, wonder if it's real or if it's not. If it passed the smell test, we're gonna go ahead and kiss that thing. But if it don't, we kind of think, we're gonna dismiss it. You know what I'm saying? So remember to hit that thumbs up button. You know, leave some comments down below. Share with your family and friends. That truly helps out the channel, as always. If you are a normal subscriber, you already know what time it is. We know we got to set the mood because we cannot do it in all this light. Cool, we done set the mood. We got our lights down low. We got the videos on deck. We got the volume up loud. Let's get this thing started.
They're about to do some shit in LA that's about to shake the world.
Okay.
So I know you heard of underground cities. I
gang.
know you heard people say there are civilizations living underground. Well, allegedly in LA, that's what they got planned. Look at this shit.
So if LA couldn't get any creepier with all the problems with crime and homeless, I ran into this billboard
Listen to what she about to
on
say.
this lot. So this is a vacant lot for construction, and it says, "Live life deeper, 144 stories underground. You may never go outside again."
What? That shit just said, you may never go outside again. So now you gotta ask yourself, who are they building these places
Never
for?
go
And with all
outside
the shit that's
again.
going on right now, it's real convenient that they're building a space underground.
Okay.
You had the United States just running to Venezuela. Take their president. And in doing so, this put the world on notice. Almost putting the bullseye on the United States back. And they're talking about building underground cities.
Oh, yeah,
An
that's the
underground
truth.
apartment complex. Somewhere where you'll never go outside
I'm gonna
again.
have to kiss it.
My
That's
question
true.
is, why wouldn't you be able to come outside again?
Hey,
Then I jump down the rabbit hole.
That's-
And if you do the same thing, then you'll see allegedly people are already living underground. We're gonna stay on topic though. Why are they building these buildings? Why are they building these buildings underground? I'm out.
Why has all of the color gone out of the world? I see memes like this constantly comparing the same house in 1990 to present day. But I've also seen this with cars, where there's a comparison with cars in the past. You had every color of the rainbow, where modern day it's white,
true.
black, gray. Or fast food restaurants, old school McDonald's versus the depressing gray modern one. Or in film, where you have the trend of taking old colorful animated movies and doing CGI versions that are all brown. I saw this post complaining about the costumes in The Odyssey. It's a historical epic where everybody's dressed in gray and brown. Where once upon a time that genre was exploding with color. I'm posting this around the holidays where now the dominant color for Christmas lights is just white.
Is it?
Or if you look at somebody's photo album from the 1970s, their trees look like this with the big colorful bulbs.
True.
And you really can't find a consensus in terms of why this has happened. Like this interior design trend that people call millennial gray. I've heard theories when people are remodeling houses or flipping them to sell, that those are just the most neutral colors and have the broadest appeal. But why does that have the broadest appeal?
That's
And
a
it's
good
the same thing
question.
with cars. The fact that cars are less colorful, this is not just anecdotal. Lots of people have charted it out. And if you try to find out why, people say, oh, it's the greed of these car makers and dealers. They know that white will sell, so that's what they put on the lot.
That's
and
what
it's
I
like,
heard.
okay, but why did green stop selling entirely? Why is it that people only want red for sports cars? With fast food restaurants, people have said that it's because the customers got older because fewer people have kids. So McDonald's used to really lean into appealing to kids with the clown mascot. But is that true of Taco Bell back in the 90s? Was Taco Bell a place where
I
little
remember
kids went?
that.
Because Taco Bell is now morphing into this, the gray and the wood paneling. I
This
feel
is
like
supposed to
all
look
of these are
high-end.
dancing around a broader consumer preference for less color in everything.
I guess.
And it may relate to the fact that, at least in my eyes, I perceive this as being a wealthier person's house.
There you
than
go.
this.
See, I said it. See.
Like, somehow I've been trained that if I went into a restaurant that had this color scheme, I would not assume that it is a fancy restaurant. Where the reason they're going to this is that it is perceived as being more upscale, even though they're serving the same food. And this, to me, looks like a rich person's Christmas tree. It looks more sophisticated. And this does read to me as the film for a more intellectual, sophisticated consumer. Where this, to me, reads as cheap or garish. But I didn't come out of the womb feeling like that. I was trained to think that way. And I honestly don't know why. And I definitely don't know why we think that children need a more colorless version of Moana. If you have a theory, I'd be eager to hear
I don't
it.
know. Man, they sure did get rid of the colors. That's amazing. And then, yeah, cars all looking just black and white. And, you know, geez, where is the color grades going? Good question. Let me know what color car you got. Me personally, I'm stuck. I got a black one. Sorry, I fell into the hole.
Government conspiracy. This right here, a dinosaur. Again, a dinosaur.
Yeah.
The American people have been bamboozled into believing that dinosaurs were a real animal.
Okay.
In reality, dinosaurs were created by the government to sell more museums. The
Oh.
official name of this program is Operation Dino, aka Disruptive Information New Money Operations. Evidence. Scientists have never found a complete fossil of dinosaurs. Everything we see today is merely an interpretation of what they think dinosaurs look like.
Cool one.
In reality, they may have looked like this, or may not have even existed.
Are you serious right now, bro?
You know one of the craziest shit I heard, fam?
What?
Did you know coffee was a psyop in Japan?
From what?
Oh my god, it's crazy.
No.
So, in Japan, back in the day, they didn't have coffee. They all drank tea.
Yeah.
But
can
American
see
companies,
that.
what did they
I
want
can
to do?
see that.
Expand to Japan.
They wanted to make Japan like coffee.
Okay.
But they couldn't make a coffee brand and just drop it in Japan because nobody fucking drinks that, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is what they did. And they're so smart.
Okay.
What they did was, the marketer, he told the guy, okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna make a candy, and you're gonna make a whole bunch of flavors. And one of the flavors is gonna be coffee. And they don't know what coffee is, but they're gonna fall in love with the taste of that flavor.
Because it's new, obviously.
Eventually, the newer generation is gonna know, because it's kids that eat the candy, right? The newer generation is gonna familiarize the taste and fall in love with that flavor coffee, know
I'm with
about
that.
it, and then that's when they ended up moving
like
the
that.
coffee
I
business
like
to
that.
Japan. And what
I
happened?
can see that.
Now, to this
I can
day,
see that.
they just opened the biggest Starbucks in Japan.
Really?
Jeez.
Oh, so it's been a long-term plan. Because obviously
It's
they
a
had to get...
long-term play.
We at a point right now where we can't tell if AI videos are real or fake.
Oh.
But the shit I'm about to show you right now looks too real to be fake. So you got people on this app that's ripping off their face, and under the skin of their face is an alien. But the way this shit looks, it's no way it can be fake. Matter of fact, look at this shit. I need you to tell me what this looks like to you. Does this look fake to you? These people like to put the truth in your
It
face
does look fake.
so they don't have to suffer the consequences of karma. And that shit right there looks too real. Now, this is not the only video I've seen like this. But out of every video that I've seen like this one looks exactly too real. And I don't want to know what y'all think, because they already say that these things right here are walking amongst us. And with everything else going on, it's real convenient that they make this right now. What if it's not AI? And what if they're trying to get us ready for something? You know, once you get comfortable seeing things, they become normal. And I think they're trying to normalize this. Again, what do you think? I'm out.
I'm not even gonna cap to you. The alien thing, pulling off the face mask, not feeling it. Don't believe it. Now, I do believe that there are possibly aliens that do live among us, But I don't think they just pull off no skin suit. You know, just let me change my face. Oh, God. Let me know.
What if I told you, the moment he finally spoke the truth, they didn't celebrate him. They declared him insane.
Before you label or condemn me, don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent.
Michael Jackson didn't say it on stage, and he didn't say it in some glossy interview.
In the last few weeks, a large amount of ugly, malicious information has been released into the media about me. Please keep an open mind and let me have my day in court. I deserve a fair trial like every other American citizen.
He whispered it when the cameras weren't supposed to be rolling. Because behind the sequins, behind the moonwalk, behind the global worship was a man under pressure.
Were you under the influence of drugs or alcohol that impaired your ability to understand what you were doing?
A man pushing against something far bigger than fame. A man who, some believe, was silenced before he could finish what he started. And here's where it gets strange. Michael Jackson didn't just irritate a few executives. He confronted them. He went to war with the machine itself. And right before he died, he was doing the one thing no other artist had ever dared attempt. He was trying to control the entire music industry from the inside out. It began with a catalog, but not just any catalog. Sony ATV, the holy vault of modern music. The Beatles, Elvis, Marvin Gaye, Bob Dylan. Songs that printed money every single minute. And in 1985, Michael Jackson bought it outright. Not a slice, not a share, all of it. One of the most influential black artists in history, quietly buying the blueprint of Western pop music, wasn't just business. It was tectonic. Even Paul McCartney warned him, not about the deal, but about the enemies it would create. But Michael didn't back down. He merged the catalog with Sony's and walked away with half of the most powerful music library on Earth. In that moment, he wasn't just the king of pop. He held the keys to the kingdom. And that's when everything changed. Because suddenly, he wasn't a superstar. He was a freak, a predator, a man who bleached his skin, hated his race,
I remember all that slander.
slept in chambers, clutched dolls. Stories designed to turn a legend into a circus. The media flipped, the lawsuits poured in, the narrative twisted. Because Michael Jackson stopped being profitable to the right people. He stopped being controllable, and he started talking. There's one speech, rare, barely seen, where he stands before a crowd, not singing, but warning.
I seen it.
He says the history books lie. The media is manipulated. The industry is a conspiracy.
They've kept this hidden from you. The Great Wall of China isn't just a wall, it's a warning. Think about it. 13,171 miles long. Let me put that in perspective.
Wow.
Crossing the U.S. coast to coast is about 3,000 miles. Now multiply that by 4, and then add 1,000 miles. That's how massive this wall is. Now the question is, who built something that massive for centuries just to keep a few nomads out? Here is where things get strange. They started building it in 220 BC, over 2,000 years ago. Back then, resources were scarce. Manpower was everything.
I believe it.
So ask yourself, what could have scared them so badly they spent more than 1,000 years constructing this monster of a wall? But here's the twist. Take a closer look. The steep side of the wall, the side designed to stop invaders, it's facing China. Yeah, the defenses weren't built to keep people out. They were built to keep something in. And that brings us to the theory of the Tartarian Empire. They say Tartaria built the wall, not the Chinese. And the purpose wasn't to protect, it was to contain, to lock away something so dangerous, so terrifying, that it could threaten the entire empire. That's strange, right? What was the wall really holding back?
So, can you believe the Great Wall is that long? I mean, they say you can see it from space. I mean, with all honesty, I mean, what in the world would they be trying to avoid? I mean, to build something that long, and I mean, for that long of a time period. Were they keeping something in, or were they keeping something out? You tell me down below, but that's crazy. All those people that died and all those kings that actually invested in that wall, it must have been something important. It's not any, hey, and then the fact of the matter is that China may not have built it. That's crazy history, right? Whew. Just give you chills.
This is the real reason why some religions ban pork.
Where they're putting human body parts into the pig supply and the pork supply. The Reynolds family used to own 60% of all the crematoriums and moratoriums in the United States and funeral homes.
What?
And they would dispose of bodies that way too. Pig farms. Pig farms.
Oh, God. I don't know about that.
And they feed that to the populace. Don't eat pig. That you didn't raise yourself. Would not strongly warn people against that enough. Parasites and hookworms are serious things.
I believe that part.
Southerners are what Southerners are. Understand something. Southerners and a lot of their speech and their cadence and their rhythm is hookworms. 9 out of 10 times. Really? 1 for 1, they are ruled by parasites. Detox them, their brains turn on, and they're sharp and capable communicators almost immediately. Tapeworms and hookworms come before and after, but they were mostly fed pork diets. Whereas out west, you see a lot less of it, and in the north, because beef tended to be the predominant thing. Sheep before that, but beef tended to feed them a lot more often.
Pork is some of the worst meat for you.
I believe that.
It's just not a clean creature, so why would you want to put that in your body?
I believe it.
As always, stay weird.
Right. It happens when it gets in the room.
What's that?
See it?
Did you see it?
I did not. I did not. See.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
So let's zoom in. Watch the EI change to an AI right before your very eyes, and then right back. So how is this possible, and why is it even happening?
What?
So this is Max Laughlin. He's just
Interesting.
18 years old and considered to be one of the smartest kids alive. Max
okay.
believes that the culprit is actually CERN, or more specifically the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. He says that when scientists smash particles together at nearly the speed of light, then they may have ripped open reality and shifted us into a completely different timeline. And when he was asked about the Mandela effect, he gave an answer that connects memory glitches to the fabric of reality itself.
Interesting.
There are other universes that are next to ours, and this actually relates to my theory of the Mandela effect and how the particle accelerator altered the weight of one electron and therefore destroyed our universe and shifted us into the universe that's directly next to it, and therefore things are different in this universe.
How did it actually change?
I'm sorry.
Well, it never changed. We changed.
And this was, you think, when CERN Super Collider did its experiment?
The Large Hadron Collider, yeah.
That's
we
some
thought our universe would
flash
implode,
type
and then
stuff.
it didn't, and we're like, oh, it's okay. Well, maybe it did implode. We just instantly got shifted to another universe.
So what do you think? Did Pikachu always have a black tail? Did double stuff always have just one F? Did a cornucopia ever exist?
it was
Or are you just
cornucopia,
from
though.
another universe?
Right, so the CIA dropped
This dude been at
documents
my
saying that we're
feet
living
all
inside a
night
hologram. Not
long.
maybe, not theoretically. No, your entire life is basically a rendered environment, and your brain is the controller.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Let's
So the
talk.
doc is called the Gateway Experience. And inside of it, the CIA literally says reality is a projection. You ain't hear what I said, right? Not physical, not solid. A self-generated simulation your conscious is plugged into. Like a cosmic VR headset you didn't consent to wearing. According to them, matter isn't even matter. It's just vibrations organized by your brain to make this shit look real. Crazy shit. They say you could break the simulation by syncing both sides of your brain. Something called hemisync. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Informational purposes only. Educational purposes only. 2 different tones in each ear between 3 and 7 hertz. And suddenly your brain clicks into a higher operating system. And once you're in that state, the CIA claim you could do some crazy shit. Leave your body. Remote view locations. Manipulate your reality field. Access information outside of time. Basically some superhuman shit. This is what they're saying. The CIA also goes as far as saying the universe is a giant holographic projection coming from a source that we can't see. Your body is the avatar. Your conscience is the player. And the game responds to your level of awareness. You heard what I just said? They tried to bury this shit. For years, these documents were classified. Let Google be your best friend. Jump down that rabbit hole.
Let's go.
I'm out.
Well, what do y'all think? You know, do you believe that you living in a hologram? I mean, truly. I mean, I love the Matrix like anybody else, but okay. Hey, there we go. You know, find those TikToks that we think that's maybe a little too real.
There's a theory that the Hoover Dam is secretly a demonic throne and that the government put angels there to cover it up. You go to the Hoover Dam, you're gonna see something really odd. There's a spot that has 2 giant winged statues made out of bronze. They look like angels, right? They are technically called the winged figures of the Republic, but this is
never heard of that.
no one officially says what they are. They're not angels, they're not demons, they're
look like
figures.
angels.
And that's not random. There's actually a floor underneath them that is a cosmic map. It shows the exact alignment of the stars the day that the dam was completed. Like they wanted like aliens or gods to find this later. You'd think it's just some like artsy little design, right? But the guy who made that design said that this is specifically supposed to last for thousands of years. Like that design was supposed to outlive our civilization.
Okay.
This is where it gets a little darker. People also call this place the throne of the devil. But why would a dam need a cosmic star map and then 2 20, 30-foot bronze guardians? And then all of these like occult looking type symbols. Well, get this. So over 100 workers died while building the dam. And some people do believe that their bodies were sealed into the concrete and that they were considered to be sacrifices to bless the sculpture. And then on top of all of this, the location of these statues don't really make any sense. Like, why would they have these big designs at a power plant? And if you're religious, you also have to remember Satan was originally an angel. Another crazy thing to note is that the Hoover Dam has been featured in dozens of end-of-the-world movies, disaster scenes, and games. It has always been the center of destruction and secret technology. And then it's like, is that a coincidence or is it programming for us to see it as the key to something? Even the name Hoover comes from a president who was involved in major U.S. power shifts, literal power and electricity. And this makes you wonder if the government is trying to hide in plain sight. Massive monuments with spiritual symbolism built into that. Government approved, celebrated, protected, and most of us never even question it. So when you pass by and you take a little selfie, you don't even realize you are standing on what some call a throne. But the question remains, a throne for who exactly? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and follow for more.
Never convinced me otherwise. They took our magic and gave us Christianity.
Ooh.
I'll do you one even better. They didn't take our power. They created a system to keep us distracted from tapping into our power. Facts. 1% of this power understood it and executed it. They kept us distracted and enslaved with race, religion, class, all of these things to keep us asleep. Because if we all understood the power that we really possess with free will, then there would be no more system. It will crumble. And we become complacent in that system because it's comfortable for us. But you're okay with working every day until you die.
I'm not okay with working until I die, though.
Also, do you know the sections of the books of the Bible they removed? And I'm
No.
not talking about the extra books from the Ethiopian Bible.
Like
no,
Apocrypha or
there's way
something,
more other
though.
books. And anything dealing with the ascension of the Christ, they removed from the Bible. But you don't know that. Y'all think it's a man. Hence why, historically, you never change the name and places of things. But Jesus Christ, which his name was Yeshua, y'all just accept his name as Jesus. And you don't question. And I'm the crazy one. That's crazy. Don't change the names and places of things historically when keeping a timeline. So why they change Yeshua's name to Jesus Christ? What are the intentions?
I think they say it's Hebrew.
See, I want you to know your power.
Conspiracy theory about why the 49ers are always so injured. And honestly, it's making sense. And it's all due to this electrical substation that is 100 yards away from the stadium in the practice field. And before we get into it, all credit goes to this guy who said this back in October, and also this guy who did a very detailed analysis on this issue. But since the Niners moved to Levi's Stadium back in 2014, they have been by far the most injured team in the NFL. And
Have they?
And the 49ers alone suffer more Achilles and patellar tendon ruptures than the league average. Now, of course, many logical people were thinking, okay, it's got to be Levi's turf, or maybe just Kyle Shanahan being so aggressive. But when people started looking into this, they saw all these other teams playing at Levi's, and their Achilles weren't just rupturing out of nowhere. But apparently, according to retired 49er John Feliciano, this theory has been floating around the locker room for years. And by the way, if you want more sports content,
interesting.
ESPN, make sure
Let's
you follow.
see.
So this guy decided to put it to the test. And this man went to the 49ers practice facility with a Gauss meter to measure the electromagnetic field. Now, apparently for a home or an office, the normal range is 0.5 to 3 milligauss. But at the far edge of the Niners practice field, it read an 8.5 on a Monday when demand for electricity was actually very low. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking this too. How the hell does this have any correlation with the body? Apparently, there are thousands of peer-reviewed studies that say that chronic exposure to these low-frequency fields can significantly weaken collagen. And collagen is a building block of tendons and ligaments. And this chronic exposure just makes those tendons and ligaments so weak that when a professional athlete goes to these professional athletes, it just
don't believe that.
explodes. But let me know what you think about this. Is this crazy, or does it actually happen?
Crazy.
Because I'd say one of the biggest pieces of evidence would be Dre Greenlaw tearing his Achilles in the Super Bowl just by running on the field.
Okay. Now, I was an athlete back in the day, my heyday, but I've never heard of anything like that. I mean, that's a new one. Let me know. Hey, let me know.
If you're looking for a creepy conspiracy theory, I got one for you. Now, this creepy conspiracy theory doesn't sound dangerous, but once you understand it, you'll never scroll the same way again. There is a theory that we are not being watched to control us. We're being watched to predict us. Not in a sci-fi way, in a data way.
Okay.
So every pause, every replay, every video you finish but don't like, those micro behaviors are logged to build what's called a behavioral prediction model. Now, here's the creepy part. These models don't need to know who you are. They need to know what someone like you usually does next. Which means influence doesn't start with persuasion anymore. It starts with timing. Researchers have openly discussed something called behavioral nudging, where systems don't tell you what to think, they just adjust what you see first. So what feels like a personal thought might actually be the most statistically likely thought that someone like you would have. That's the goal, and that's the theory, that the goal isn't control, it's anticipation. And if a system can predict your decisions better than you can, the serious part isn't the surveillance. It's the illusion that everything still feels like your idea. So, creepy conspiracy or already the norm?
Because I'm trying to tell y'all, people ain't know the Titanic sunk on purpose.
I heard that.
They monetized the shit.
Dang,
that's why I say it's so much hidden knowledge, and people caught flack when I said this, but a lot of people liked it when I said that if the regurgitated version of the Bible that they gave us today helped black people or any people get out of their current situation, they would have never introduced it to us, which is true.
Right.
Because the Vatican has so much fucking like books, all type of architect. They have real knowledge that a lot of people ain't even ready for. But they give us this.
Right.
Anytime your enemy gives you something, it's not for your use, bro.
Hold on, bro.
They
gave us shit.
I like
That's all it is. See, listen, the Bible, like I said, the Bible is what keep broke people from killing rich people. You see what I'm saying? That's the glue. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's a belief system, bro. Everything is built around belief systems.
And that's a wrap. You made it to the end. I appreciate you. You're a G. You feel me? Hey, man, some of those TikToks was real. Those was real, so it make you really think, right? Then some of them, we came across, it was like, nah. But hey, you ain't got to take my word for it. You know what I'm talking about? Leave some comments down below. Let me know whether I should have dissed some more or should I have kissed some more. You know what I'm saying? And if you're enjoying it, man, please hit that thumbs up, man. Smack that subscribe button so you can get the notifications, so you can check out the next deep, dark TikToks that we run across. And until next time, hey, keep your lights down low, keep your mind open, and remember, not everything is just one of these TikToks. It's your boy, Mr. It's Too Easy, and I'm out.